to another Smart Grid News webinar. I'm Berst. I'm your host and moderator today. And we're talking about data analytics, and more specifically, how Baltimore Gas and Electric is benefiting from its AMI data. I'm very pleased to be bringing this topic to you today. I think it's really important for utilities to begin to create more value from that metering data that's starting to pour in. So first and foremost, the topic is important. I also think the approach is important. Speaking for myself, I learn best by examples, and today we're going to hear about some real-world examples. I think you're going to get a lot of value from it. And here's the folks that are going to be talking at you today. Again, I'm Berst with Smart Grid News, the Internet's oldest and largest smart grid site. I'll introduce each of our speakers in more detail when it's their turn to speak, but very quickly, we're joined by Matt Comte and Chandra from Accenture and Tom Humphreys from Baltimore Gas and Electric. So here's what you're going to walk away with. First, we're going to start out by talking a little bit about how do you build a use case, or as Accenture likes to call it, a value case. And then we're going to get into these case studies. We're going to talk about these topics that you see here, and also about some of the future possibilities that Baltimore Gas and Electric is considering right now. And we'll finish up with some of the lessons learned. So let's bring up our first speaker. Matt Comte is a senior manager at Accenture. You know, one of the things I really appreciate about working with Accenture on webinars is that they've got experience across multiple utilities, so they've got a really broad perspective, and it's very valuable. Matt's got 14 years of experience with North American utilities and IT, deep expertise in metering-related topics, so we're very glad to have him along. Matt, thanks for helping out today.
Jesse, thank you for having us and hosting us. We look forward to a good discussion. So I think that people on this phone, and as we start are experiencing kind of thinking through analytics and kind of as a perspective, and I think what we can reflect and take away from that is analytics is a complex, but it's a nascent industry with tremendous outlook as a market. You know, if we look at some of the data points in the market, so take Pike Research, for instance, suggests that the CAGR in the next 4 to 5 years of this industry is in the mid-20s. Right now, there's at least 30, trending over that, of solution providers in the utility space that are just focusing on analytics. And, you know, when we look at these two factors and we say there's a rapidly expanding market and we have expanding number of market participants, it really leads us to a confusing landscape for the utility as we try to envision how we're going to use and grow this capability over time. So really, I think the utility is kind of faced with a strategic decision point. They really want to be solution-led, where we look at the best solution providers of the moment. We try to make sense of who's going to be the most stable and give us the biggest upside and long-term business capability for what we're trying to solve, and then go with that provider and then grow that over time. Or another approach may be value-led, where we first take a clear understanding of the opportunities and results that can be achieved through analytics in specific areas of our business, a very measured approach, and then select the solutions that best address these value areas. So before going to the market and opening up conversation with solution providers, we have a clear understanding of what we're trying to solve, what areas of the business are our highest value, and we start attacking those. So early on, 2 or 3 years ago, I mean, Accenture started into this space really heavily with some big investments in analytics platforms and pilots with our clients. What we found is that through several experiences, the value-led approach is long-term the best for the utility, because we can establish, you know, clear organizational visions. We can then identify some hypothesis on value. We can test those hypotheses through proofs of concept, and then ultimately drive out value cases that support clear investments in certain analytics areas that we can take to market. Obviously, the approach is large, and it would take a long time to go through kind of all the aspects, but wanted to give somewhat of a flyover of some of our latest thinking. And we'll hear later from Tom about how BGE has kind of taken this thought and expanded it through their own efforts. But, you know, from an Accenture perspective, our approach advocates establishing clear value cases from each of the business areas, and then we can then prioritize each of those functions in a way that leads us to a clear solution that we should be going into the market to select. We believe that by doing this, it will clarify the business requirements and then establish kind of that North Star, those components that are needed to select the right solution by the utility for their specific situation that they find their business. Our approach can occur over a period of 6 to 12 months. It doesn't have to be that long, but what we found is in that 6-month time frame, you can establish enough foundation to then understand clearly where you want to go as a business and have clear justification of the value that you can then go get out of the market. So going through some of those steps that Chandra later in our discussion will go into more detail of what we found, but just to lay out a general framework, it's really 4 steps there. Starting out with clear visioning. What do we really want to do in analytics? Educating our business owners and our business functions about what are the possibilities of analytics and solution providers. Identifying initial inventory of value cases that we can then go out and pursue. Creating conceptual frameworks of an analytics pilot we can go define, and then taking that and putting some definition around a proof of concept that we can then invite partners. So solution providers that can come participate. And we shouldn't be exclusive. We should be inviting enough diversity so that we get, 1, a good vision of what the industry can provide, and 2, a good understanding of the complexity of integrating some of these solutions. So that's kind of that visioning step. Then, moving into the validation, where we start executing proofs of concepts, where we can then start driving out some of the people, process, and technology steps that are required to support an analytics capability as a whole. We can start baselining some of our business case assumptions, executing and identifying some quick wins that we can implement that can start providing immediate value to the business through their analytics, and then start actually some pull-through as the value is consumed and is driven by the business. Next, we can really expand through the next phase, where we've said, okay, we've taken a cycle through our first highest priorities. Now let's look at what we've done, evaluate them, and identify other areas that we should go pursue, given a number of factors, whether highest best value or there's data availability or whatever maturity we have, maybe in our AMI space as meters become more and more deployed and we get more and better data, we start expanding into other areas so that we can continue to test our value assumptions that ultimately lead to kind of a final phase of refining some of our requirements, refining how we do analytics that can then ultimately lead us to a kind of a conclusion, a conceptual model that describes our analytics aspirations as a business and has clear inventory of requirements that we can then go drive with surety and clarity kind of into the market as we start looking at solution providers. So I think ultimately the goal of this approach is to establish a mechanism to define and measure the value delivered through analytics. Ultimately it's a change in the paradigm of how we look at solutions. Going into a led by value or value-seeking paradigm where we start looking not at the solution to solve the problems we think we have, but to take an objective, clear view of the opportunities, the issues, and the results that we can achieve through analytics. So being value-led rather than solution-led, and have a clear understanding of those opportunities that we can then go engage the commercial market so that we make clear and high-value decisions for years to come. Bottom line is we believe that utilities who are on the roadmap to smart metering or on a smart grid or implementing big data transformations can unlock tremendous value with little upfront investments in prototypes and in these pilots. By targeting investments, not by value case, and making these as targeted, solution-pointed investments on a bigger roadmap of understanding where the value lies, utility will have the clarity to choose the best and the highest solutions for their situation, and then be on a roadmap and a series of steps to build out that capability to focus on desired business outcomes in very specific high-value areas. So, that's what we aspire to see from some of these pilots. It's been some of our experience to date as we've run some of these with our clients. And Jesse, I think it'd be a good time to introduce Tom, who could then talk through his perspective on how this pilot executed for BGE and what kind of clarity and next steps it's leading to in their business.
Thanks, Matt. You're listening to a SmartGrid News webinar. I'm Jesse Berst with SmartGrid News, and our topic today is data analytics, how Baltimore Gas and Electric is benefiting from its AMI data. We just heard from Matt Comte of Accenture,